Hi everybody. Today I'm playing Quan Masters. It's an old game. It's actually a remake of an even older game called Star Control 2 that was made in '92 by Accolade. It's a part of Atari today, I think. And then it was released to open source in the early 2000s, and a group of people made a remake of it, which we're gonna play today. It's a fun game. Basically, the first version of this game, Star Control 1, was a melee game between uh, starships. So the two opponents would pick their types of starships and then battle them one to one. And then in this game, they added an element of a storyline and also kind of a search and gather throughout the galaxy, which I really enjoyed when I was young. Um, so we're gonna try this again. Just real quick before I start the game, because the music is extremely loud, and it's hard to think and talk. So the storyline in this game basically um, is set into the future of mankind. Humans have already met many different alien races throughout the galaxy, and then throughout sometime in the future, at some point in the future, a war broke out between an alliance of races that included humankind in them and um, an evil race called the Quan. So throughout this war, as it was going on, humans launched a convoy out to a distant planet where an ancient civilization settlement was supposed to be. And then during the time that that convoy left to that distant planet, they lost contact with the alliance and with the battle that was ongoing. So the game here starts, I think, 20 years after that or something, where you play the descendant of the convoy of the people that went out, um, and your mission is basically to captain this precursor ancient civilization ship from that ancient um, planet back to Earth to attempt and help the Alliance fight the Orquan, just to find out that the Orquan at that time has practically conquered the galaxy. So you're kind of by yourself, and you have to start all over. So let's start the game now. I'm gonna really quickly set the controls because there's no mouse and it's set on directional, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's directional. So we're gonna change this. And the music is already starting. I'm gonna change this real quick. Configure controls, and we're gonna do WASD. Okay. This is still, even though I set it to WASD, it's still moving. That's interesting. Yeah, it's set to WASD. So maybe that's just in-game settings, I guess. So, new game. New game. Or Quan Masters. The Alliance of Free Stars against the evil Urquan and its hierarchy of battle trolls. So these are the two major forces in the universe, or in the galaxy rather, sorry. A huge underground city. Lower the volume a little bit. the factory. So yeah, when the game starts, you start as the captain of this skeleton starship, which is really cool because it allows you to build more modules as the game progresses. You start with, I believe, one crew pod and maybe like a couple of navigational pods and a couple of thrusters, and maybe one basic laser. And then, you know, as you find materials, you can upgrade those into better status. And you can make a choice, right? So you can make a choice whether you want to put more fuel, storage, or more crew pods, which allows you to take. So the crew pods represents the damage that the ship can take in battle as you lose crew, whereas fuel represents how far you can travel without being stuck, stranded in space. So here we begin. Basically, from the storyline perspective, we traveled from our research planet that we were on all these years back to Earth to try to help the Alliance. So here Earth is in front of me, and yeah, there's no, I don't know why I have my hand on the mouse because there's no mouse in this game. We can start by trying to travel to some of the other planets, but really from a storyline perspective, as soon as I go into the inner part of the solar system, I'll already engage the story. As you guys can see, I'm gonna head to Earth. Because there's really nothing else to do right now yet. And then as soon as I'm gonna enter the orbit, oh, this is really tricky now because the navigation and the thrusters are really. See, it takes really long for the ship to turn because there's barely any navigational modules on it. So it's kind of like driving a boat. So here's the drone comes and this engages the story. Basically.
Attention, interloper. Heed this recorded message. This drone vessel speaks with the voice and authority of Quan. You are trespassing within Quan space. This world, Earth, may not be approached for any reason, nor will hostilities against our orbital platform be tolerated. In addition, your ship does not respond to standard hierarchy identification transmissions, and is therefore deemed to be independent. This is not permissible. Only subservience shall be tolerated. This drone now leaves to inform the Quan of your transgressions. You are commanded to remain here and await the arrival of the Quan. Disobedience will be punished.
Okay, so there's a drone here that basically found me and is now gonna inform these Quan guys that I'm here on a new ship that they're not aware of. And therefore deemed to be independent. So we're gonna, as you guys see, there's like a red shield around Earth, and here's the moon, and here's like a station. So we're gonna start by heading towards the station. If I was to head towards the planet first, I'm gonna leave the moon alone for now, but if I was to head towards the planet first, you would be able to see that I'm entering the orbit. I can scan it for different things. That's how you would do in the game, but because there is a slave shield around it, I have no way to do anything here really, and I can't even dispatch anything out. But it gives me some information, gives me the atmosphere, temperature, weather, classes, blah blah blah. Okay, so we're gonna exit here because there's nothing to do on this planet at this point, and we're gonna go into navigating and head towards the station.
Attention unidentified space vessel. I am Starbase Commander Hayes of the slave planet Earth. Our hyperwave broadcast is extremely weak. Situation critical. Energy cores exhausted. Scanners and deep radar are non-functional. We cannot identify your vessel. Are you the scheduled hierarchy resupply ship? Repeat, are you the resupply vessel?
So now I have choices in how I want to. Oh, apparently my name is Vindicator. I didn't even know that. My friend Vindicator team would be happy. We stand ready. Yes, this is a supply ship. Oh yeah, you can screw with them, which is kind of funny. That's pretty funny. So no, we're gonna go with this one.
The Starship what? Never mind, look. We won't last much longer. Here's our situation. According to our oath of fealty to the Quan, we must maintain the starbase, but we have no space vessels of our own, and the shield prevents us from contacting Earth, so we're totally dependent on the Quan supply vessels for everything we need up here. We know there's a hierarchy base on the surface of the moon, but we can't contact them. The Quan were supposed to resupply the base at regular 5-year intervals, but we haven't received anything in almost 8 years. What we don't recycle, we can usually synthesize, but to do so, we need replacement radioactives for our generator energy cores. If you could bring us some radioactive elements, we can fabricate the cores ourselves. Are you willing to help us? The fastest way to get radioactives in this system would be to land on Mercury and scour the surface for deposits of radioactive
Mercury
elements.
is my next
But
target.
be careful. Mercury's a pretty inhospitable place. Watch out for earthquakes and those high temperature areas. Thanks, I'll make
So
sure
we
to
need to
mention
get
this the
some
next time I
resources
talk with
for,
our masters. I'm sure they will reward you.
For the station, which essentially means we want to find Mercury. So, but we are close to the moon, so let's go and get that done and see what's happening on the moon, because he said there's a station there. So here's the moon. We're gonna start by scanning it. We'll do an auto scan, which will basically scan everything: energy, mineral, and biological items. Right? So if we can start here, you can see if I do it by itself. So these are different minerals that I can go and pick up. These are different energy spots. There are very few of them, because if we find them, that means it's usually something interesting. So that's one thing that we're gonna have to want to go and see. And then biological items can be aliens that are on the planet. Some of them are completely docile, and you can just take them and consume them and basically harvest them. Some of them would actually hurt you or even chase you. So it depends on the type. So we have all of this stuff. We're gonna do auto scan just so we have all of them on the map. And what we're gonna do now, we're gonna dispatch a lander, and we're gonna do it somewhere close to this energy field. See, now here's the lander. So as you can see, the Earth itself is fairly calm from perspective of earthquakes or hotspots, so I can travel here without having to worry too much. Here's the energy spot. These are the biological items that I'm seeing. Very interesting. Can I shoot them? How can I shoot them? What shoots? What shoots here? I should be able to shoot them somehow. Oh, here we go. V. There we go. But they don't really give me anything. They don't really give me any kind of biological items, so we're gonna skip that and just go to the energy source. Installation that must have been abandoned. Mayday. Alright, so we got some stuff. Now we can head to Mercury. Mercury is closer to the sun. So we're gonna head it that way. As you can see, it takes really slow. I have no thrusters yet, or very few. Here's Mercury right there. And we're gonna start. This one is gonna be tricky because it's probably a lot more hostile than the moon was to land on. And still we need a few radioactive materials to engage in the beginning of the game. So, scanning Mercury for minerals. Oh, here's all the good minerals. So, radioactives, I think, are the orange and the yellow ones. Yeah, the big orange one there is what we really want to go for. Energy has no scans. Biological, Mercury is completely dead for anything besides minerals. But as you can see, it says temperature is there, 165 degrees Celsius, weather none. Tectonics class 3, which means we will probably have a lot of earthquakes. Later I can get defense modules against those. So we can start by dispatching, and what we're going to do is we're going to dispatch very close to the radioactive material. Hopefully we can snatch it. Yeah, see? Snatch it and fly out real quick. Before it disappears on us, and then do one more dispatch. So this way we already collected that. We can now collect these ones, hopefully. There we go. So the big things we don't really need as much. Let's do one more dispatch. Here. Oh, that's pretty. There we go. Okay. So iron and the other stuff we're done. I think this should be enough to start the to release the first mission out and give us at least a little bit of maybe another fuel pod or another thruster or a little bit of fuel or something. So we're gonna head to Earth again. We will scan the rest of the solar system, though it is generally low on good resources. I believe the Centauri system close might be a little better target. But we're gonna do that a little bit later. I'm gonna have to take a break in a minute.
Did you find any radioactive elements for our power cores?
We are ready to transfer, or what will you give us? Oh my gosh. Before we help you, we require certain information. No, let's just first buy help.
We're initiating transfer of
nice
radioactives, Captain. Now, as soon as our engineers can refit the energy cores, that's much better. Power ratings are climbing. Life support is coming back into the green. Deep radar systems and sensors are now online, and I can scan your vessel. What the hell kind of ship is that? Just who are you, Captain?
I am Zelnik.
Star Control science mission, huh? Captain, I served as a Star Control officer during the war aboard several cruisers in the Corward Front. And if there'd been any scientific mission to Vela, I would have heard about it. Come to think of it, there were some rumors that Corridor 9, the Special Operations Division of Star Control, was directing some hush-hush operation near Androsynth Space. The Vela star system, yes, that would be the right direction. So, Captain, if you say it's true, how do you explain that huge alien starship you're flying? And why are you here? What do you want from us? Fight the Quan. Win back our freedom. I remember having such thoughts myself once, a long time ago. That was in the first years after the defeat, when it was still terrifying to look up and see the bloody glow of the pulsating slave shield overhead. So day and night we gazed up at the impenetrable wall as though the sheer power of our hatred would pull it down. But over the years I spent so much of my time struggling, down on the surface, under the shield, and then later up here trying to keep the station alive, that I'd forgotten what it means to be free, to hate our Quan masters. And now here you are, in an alien ship of unknown power, offering me your assistance to fight against the hierarchy again after all these years. Captain, your offer is intriguing. It's tempting to think that with your advanced precursor technology, we can somehow crack the Earth's slave shield and reassemble the Alliance to attack the hierarchy. And this time, win the damn war. Consider the consequences if you should fail. The Quan won't just punish us here on the station. They'll exact a gruesome retribution on the surface below as well. Before I commit this station to helping you attack the Quan and accepting the risk of annihilation if we are defeated, I have to make sure that you and your ship have what it takes to oppose the hierarchy. I'll make you a deal. If you can eliminate the alien base on the moon and get rid of that threat at least, I will seriously consider your offer.
Oh yeah, we just did that. Again, I'm not a supporter of lying unless it's part of the deceit process.
I'll be darned. All these years we've been listening to their incoherent broadcast, and we never even guessed. Captain, listen closely. Long-range sensors show a ship closing on this station
if
fast.
you guys remember the
Our
drone
computer identifies it as Ilra,
that went to call the
Avenger
Quan.
class. I think you've got a fight on your hands, Captain.
Here's
your best bet is to wait until you have point-blank range. Captain, it's jamming our signal.
I think we're heading into battle. I hope.
By the fetid breath of the Dark Twin Kazon, a human and an alien starship. How fascinating. When I intercepted that Quan drone and learned that an unidentified starship had approached Earth, I never expected to find such a remarkable vehicle in the hands of a human. Humans are
almost like
prey
Ferengis.
animals, weak and helpless. But here is a human in an armed starship, and therefore
It's almost
in
like a
direct violation
Italian
of the
Ferengi.
oath of fealty. I am sure our masters, the Quan, will punish Earth most severely for this treachery when I present them with the twisted wreckage of your ship.
First, I have
and
to
your
figure out what
finished
fires here, whether it's V
corpses.
or spacebar, because otherwise I will be very fastly fried.
Since you will soon be dead, I will gladly explain. We have spent many years gleefully preying on the Patunk. They are a pitiful, easily killed species. And we would have continued in this divine worship of Dogar and Kazon, but we required additional crew members and repairs to our cloaking device. So we departed the Jiglass constellation and set course for home. But before we had reached our region of space, we detected the passage of a nearby vessel, the Quan drone. It informed us about you, so here we are. And now, you die.
Let's go for it. I can choose which spaceship I want to start with. The little Earth spaceships are really bad, and honestly, I don't think I'll be able to. I might lose all of it, but we're gonna start with that just to sacrifice it. There we go. That was a quick victory for Enterprise.
What a beautiful sight, Captain. I haven't seen an Avenger blown away like that since the battle in Draco.
That was pretty easy.
I guess you've shown that you can handle yourself in battle, Captain. So my last reservation about helping you has been dissolved. I will commit this station to helping free Earth and defeat the Quan. We may get our atoms rearranged in the process, but by God, Captain, we're going to try. So the obvious first step is to get the precursor equipment and software over here so that we can make it work with our ship repair fabricators. But then what, Captain? A sensible plan, Captain. Let's get to work. Good luck. By the way, Captain, I think we need a name for this new alliance we're going to forge. And since it was your idea, it's only fair that you get the honor of naming it. So, what will it be?
New Alliance of Freestar, Concordance of Alien Nations, United Federation of Worlds. The Empire of Zelnik. That's pretty funny. Let's go with the new alliance of
Okay,
free
that
stars.
sounds pretty inspiring. So be it. The new alliance of free stars. Now, Captain, I expect the configuration process for the starbase to take at least 2 weeks, so let's get to work.
I guess that jumps me 2 weeks into the future. Feb 23rd.
I have good news to report, Captain. We have successfully integrated the precursor technology from your ship into our fabricator system, and as you can see, we've already begun minor repairs on your ship, patching up some of the micrometeorite holes. We noticed that your ship does not have an emergency warp escape unit, so our engineers rigged up some for you and each of your escorts. Now, you should be able to escape from a bad situation with the touch of a button. But there is a cost, however. The unit gulps up 5 fuel units each time your precursor ship uses it. Also, we now have a limited capacity to make modifications to your ship, to refine starship fuel, to build additional combat ships, and to train new members of your crew for the flagship and any ships you acquire for your fleet. Captain, I know you're eager to get to work, so I'll be brief. If you have any questions how this starbase works, what resources we need, or just some background information on the galaxy, don't hesitate to ask.
Alright, so let's start by offloading all the minerals we have.
The more minerals you bring us, Captain, the faster we'll be able to
They give me a
tackle the
little bit of resource
Quan.
units. As you can see, I started with 2,500 and now I have 3,000. Let's go over the additional background
Certainly,
just real
Captain.
quick.
What do you need to know? We can modify your precursor ship, build additional combat vessels, and supply you with fuel and crew. Our engineers and precursor specialists agree with the scientists from your world that your starship was designed to be a workhorse vehicle, which can be easily reconfigured for different missions by adding or swapping self-contained equipment packs, which we call modules. The modules we can build right now are thruster units, which make your ship move faster, attitude jets, which allow you to rotate the ship more quickly, crew pods, which provide life support facilities for up to 50 additional crew members, storage bays, which increase your ship's cargo capacity for mineral resources, fuel tanks, which hold an additional 50 units of fuel, dynamos, which feed energy into your combat energy batteries, improving your weapon's rate of fire. And last but not least, ion bolt guns, combat weaponry, the exact function of which depends on its location aboard the ship. When put in the first or front module slot, it fires a single shot forward. When put in the second slot, it fires 2 shots, spread to the left and right of center. When put in the third slot, it fires 2 shots directly, left and right. And when put in the last or rear slot, it fires a single shot straight backwards. Our shipyard facilities are sophisticated and fully automated, permitting a handful of starbase personnel to do the same job as 500 vac-suited construction workers. However, the only designs that we had in our computers were incomplete hierarchy ship design. Things looked grim until one of the officers came forward with an amazing story. Even though the Quan destroyed every Earthling cruiser in the fleet nearly 20 years ago, one of my maintenance engineers was a Starship production assistant at the Detroit shipyard. When Earth was conquered, she was ordered to destroy all ship construction databases, but she secretly made copies of the blueprint discs and then kept them with her ever since. These discs contain all the data we need to build as many Earthling cruisers as you want, provided you, Captain, can supply the large amounts of mineral resources required to build those vessels. In theory, Captain, we could build alien starships here if we had designs for them. However, it's a well-known fact that alien vessels just can't be flown in combat without native starship captains at the helm.
So, once you establish contacts with other alien races, they give you blueprints for their starships, you can start making them for your fleet. At this point, I can only make Earthling starships. How they get fuel for
the
the
base is
Vindicator.
designed to service hierarchy ships. Fortunately, your flagship uses the same stabilized antimatter technology as hierarchy vessels and will be able to synthesize what you need. However, due to the size of your ship, we'll have to produce vast quantities of fuel, which will be a substantial drain on our resources.
Okay. Additional personnel.
We have almost 2,000 highly motivated, skilled professionals aboard this starbase, and every single one of them wants a berth aboard your starship. However, each hand we lose to your ship means less manpower here at the starbase, and this is reflected in the crew RU cost. As long as you don't lose too many crew members to combat or planet exploration, the RU cost will remain static. But we have only so many warm bodies on this starbase, and if your needs for crew grow beyond a certain point, the cost could increase dramatically. As you know, Captain, we've committed the entire output of this station to building your flagship and your battle fleet into the strongest force possible. However, our resources are very limited, and we feel you must decide how we are to spend our effort and material. To aid you in making these decisions, we have implemented a resource allocation scheme. We provide you with a numerical assessment of the station's resources and ascribe a cost to each task we can perform and each device we can build. It's up to you to decide how you're going to spend your resource unit, or RU as we call them. To acquire more RU, you must bring resources back to the starbase. These resources can be either in the form of mineral ores gathered from planet surfaces or already refined metals and other valuable materials from the wreckage of enemy starships. The most straightforward way you can accumulate resource units is to bring mineral ores back to this starbase. There are probably enough resources in just the nearby dozen stars to build your ship into a powerful battleship or to create a strong task force of combat vessels. I would also recommend that you build several additional storage bays. When gathering minerals, focus on cleaning out one star system at a time. This way you minimize the cost of travel through hyperspace. While I respect your search for abstract knowledge, frankly, Captain, in our present circumstances, I see little use for such data here. Perhaps you could make use of biological information elsewhere. What else can I tell you? What aspect of history, Captain? Which group of aliens? Okay, which race? The Shofixti are a race of intelligent marsupials who had been civilized for only a few decades when the war began. They were discovered in the Delta Gorno star system by the Yehat, who adopted and then uplifted the Shofixti, giving them advanced technology and cultural definition. Shofixti are noble and fearless warriors, Captain. In addition, their incredible fecundity and rapid maturation rate kept Alliance rank solid even at the worst part of the war. You know, I once flew as an observer aboard one of their ships on routine patrol. We never saw the enemy, but I could never stop thinking about the glory device it had strapped to the bottom of its hull. The Yehat are a race of ancient warrior clans that have been traveling the stars for many centuries. Clans are highly competitive and sometimes even wage war on each other, but the clans are all loyal to the Queen and her royal family, known as the Veepzeeps. The Veepzeeps have been in power for over 2,000 years, and it is said that during their rule, the Yehat never lost a battle. I'd like to think I'm not a bigoted person, Captain, especially when it comes to allies, but there's just something about those Arilu that gives me the creeps. One thing I'll say for them, though, they possess some technique for moving really fast through hyperspace. They never let us know what it was, but sure beats the pants off our fastest ships.
So the Arilu in this game are like one of the ancient races that know a lot more than they let.
The Genjutsu were leaders of the Alliance, even though they refused to accept formally the title. I don't know if their silicon-based biology is just plain superior to our old carbon models, or if their fantastic intellect were the product of an ancient, peaceful culture. Whatever the reason, I'd rather be taking orders from a Genjutsu than any other life form, absolutely. One of the more amazing things about them was they never used hyperwave communicators. They could send messages naturally, and their natural hyperwave receptors were much more sensitive than even our best units. We didn't really get much of a chance to learn about those mechanical beings, but I'll tell you what I know. They're the product of a distant, unknown culture who sent a giant factory arc into our region of space many centuries ago. The Mother Arc, that's what the Earth Press called it, turned out millions of robots and finally broke down. I don't know why the Murnerherm didn't repair the Mother Arc. Maybe they can't. My personal guess as to why they were sent here is that they're on the leading edge of a colonization project. And once the Myrnaherm obtained enough new worlds, the genuine colonists, whoever they are, will arrive and claim their due.
So even that gets explained later down the storyline.
Most raw recruits saw the Siren as nothing more than warm, breathing pin-ups. Warm they are, and yes, they do breathe most magnificently, but captive, they are far more than simple joy units. The history shows the Siren established and maintained a peaceful culture from their Bronze Age through their discovery of starflight. Before their planet was destroyed in a horrible cataclysm, their world was an Eden. What other group of aliens are you interested in? Which species?
Aired.
The Mycons are hard to get a handle on. In fact, I'm not sure any human has ever had a real conversation with a Mycon. What we know of them, we've learned from their corpses, which, I may add, have a nasty habit of coming back to life when thawed out from a decompression quick freeze. Mycon ships seem to expend a significant amount of energy on life support. This is probably because the Mycon only thrive in temperatures close to the melting point of lead. As far as we know, the Mycon are the only race to actively seek out the Quan in order to become combat slaves. Imagine facing a cowardly, mobile clam armed with a howitzer. You've got a good idea of what it's like dealing with a Spathy. Although they tend to avoid battles as much as their masters will allow, once in battle, a Spathy eluder is one tough cookie. I once heard a rumor, though I don't like to believe in it myself, that a rogue band of courageous Spathy broke away from the main Starfleet, painted their ships black with bright red stripes, and formed the Black Spathy Squadron, dedicated to performing brave and hostile deeds. Like I said, I'd have to see it to believe it. It's unfortunate that the Umga fell to the Quan so early in the war, because I suspect we would have gotten along well with those big blob creatures. At the very least, it would have been entertaining. We know them a bit better than most races because they were eager to talk with our ships before, after, and during battle. The Arielu intimated that they had a relationship with the Umga before the Quan arrived, but I don't know any details. When I was flying combat missions along the Corward front, there was nothing we feared more than the Androsith hit-and-run squadron. Their blazer ships were more than a match for our cruisers, so we stayed clear of Eta Vulpeculae, their home star.
There we go. First,
In addition, I think each of us aboard the ship knew deep down in our hearts that the Androsith had a damn good reason for hating us. Our grandparents had kept them as slaves for nearly 50 years. I still have nightmares about those spiders taking me prisoner, using me as one of their 6 sacrifices to Dogar and Kazon, their twin gods of destruction and torment. Those guys were almost as scary as the Androsith to those of us in Deep Space Patrol. Their Avenger ships could appear out of nowhere, melt a cruiser down to slag in seconds. Luckily for us, the bulk of the Ilrath fleet was thrown against the Gendesu and the Myrnaherm. The Starship Far Voyager, under the command of Captain Jeffrey L. Rand, encountered the Bucks near Beta Mira. Although the details are hazy, it's generally accepted that Rand offended the Buck Starship commander with an inadvertent insult. What other group of aliens are you interested in? None that we had made formal contact with. The Chen Jesu implied that they had met 2 other star-faring species, one near the Gickless constellation and the other directly coreward from Procyon. The Arielu once mentioned having some fun with an alien race in Draconis, but like so much else with the Arielu, they never revealed the whole story. I'm sure there are hundreds more alien races in our galaxy, but beyond what I've told you, your guess is as good as mine. Would you like information on any other aspect of history?
I think we're done.
Would you like information on any other aspect of history? Sure. Anything else? Fine. Is there anything else you need? Blow up an Quan for me, Captain.
Okay, so now we are back into the main game. Our current mission is obviously to start bumping up the ship a little bit and then go gather resources in the solar system and in the surrounding areas, and then come back and upgrade the ship to the point that then throughout that move forward the storyline by engaging story points. Let's see real quick what I can outfit. See if I still have 3,000. So I have 3,000 RU. I only have 7 fuel, so we're gonna start by obviously filling up the fuel. That costs, as you can see, quite a lot of resource units. And now we're going to look at modules. So, what do we have? We have one fuel tank, we have a crew pod, one storage bay, and one cannon, and a couple of thrusters. I think from a speed perspective, we're okay. What I want right now is turning jets. I want another one. So let's get a turning jet. Here. Okay, and one more thruster. So that's these two. And then another thing we can get here is, so we don't have money for that. We can get another storage bay, and we can get another fuel tank, which is actually pretty important. So let's get another fuel tank done. And fill that one up too. So that gives us a little more fuel to be able to travel around. And leaves us with only 5 RU. So, exit menu, depart the database, depart the starbase, and here we are ready to launch out on our mission, out and start scavenging first the solar system. So I'm going to take a break here, I'm going to go eat some lunch, and we're going to continue after that. We'll do a save. Here. Did it let me save? Oh yeah, it did let me save. So yeah, I'm just going to save here on save game 0, and I'll see you guys a bit later.